Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I'm going to be showing you how to recreate those beautiful makeup looks that you see on Instagram and here on YouTube by using products that you already own. How many times have you watched a YouTube tutorial or looked at a makeup breakdown on Instagram and thought, I would love to achieve that look, but I don't own those exact products? And then you get kind of stressed out because you think if I go buy those exact products, it's going to cost a small fortune. Or you think to yourself, if I don't have that exact color, then it's not going to look as good. And I'm here to tell you, and what I'm hoping to demonstrate in today's video is that that is not the case. I realize that not everybody watching is a makeup artist like I am. Your eyes aren't necessarily trained the way mine have been over the years of doing this. And I also have a background in art, so I do know color and undertones and things like that. So it sounds difficult, and you might be thinking, okay, easier said than done, and I understand that. But I'm hoping that by seeing me recreate this look that I'm going to be recreating for you, using different products that I already have in my stash, that it'll at least inspire you, it'll spark an interest, it maybe will get you over that hurdle of thinking that it can't be done. You see this photo, maybe the products are listed on Instagram, maybe they aren't, but I want you to know you don't have to use those exact same products to get a nearly identical look. One of my favorite makeup artists growing up was the great Kevyn Aucoin. And this is one of his books. It is called Making Faces. If you don't own it, I highly recommend it. And no, this video is not sponsored by Kevyn Aucoin. I actually don't even use any Kevyn Aucoin products in this video. But Kevyn used to never, ever list the exact products that he would use. He never put exact products in any of his books. And the reason for that was because he wanted it to not be about specific products. He wanted people to learn to do makeup on themselves or on other people just using flattering colors. He would say, use a pinky peach blush, but he never specified which one he recommended because there are so many out there. And because one looks good on me doesn't mean it's gonna look good on you. But now we're in this day and age where people aren't really looking to magazines anymore for fashion and makeup inspiration. They're looking to social media. And there is this tendency to want to buy everything that a beauty guru is pitching to you, or they're putting up this look and you want to recreate it, so you feel like you have to run to Sephora and buy every single thing. And I know I've done it too. I'm guilty of this too. And I know my viewers, you've told me, oh, I bought this because of you and I bought this because of you. So this video is something different for me. I want to show you guys how I recreate a look if I don't have the products. I found an inspiration photo, and I just see this all the time on Instagram. I will look at a makeup picture. I follow a lot of different makeup artists, and I will look at the beautiful work that they've done, and sometimes they'll list the products, and I'll say, oh, I have that, I don't have that. I mean, granted, I have a pretty large makeup stash. I've been doing makeup for a long time, and I'm a bit of a makeup collector, and I do YouTube, so I do have quite a big stash. But even before any of this, I would always just kind of look at the colors that were used, and sometimes they're just so basic. They're like brown, gold, black. Those are pretty easy to find. You don't necessarily have to have that exact product. And, with filters and all of that other lighting that goes on, things can look very different on camera or in photos than they do in real life anyway. So if you haven't figured it out already, this is going to be a tutorial on how I achieved this look based off of an inspiration photo. Now, this particular photo, she did list some of the products that were used, but I used entirely different products. The lip color wasn't listed, the blush color wasn't listed, but I think I did a pretty good job recreating it. And you'll see as I talk through the tutorial how I would choose the colors, or how I chose these colors and why, and how to find dupes and all of that sort of thing. So if you're interested in seeing how to recreate a makeup look, an inspirational makeup photo without having to go out and buy all new things, just using what you currently have or dupes, then please keep on watching. Okay, obviously I have already applied my foundation and my eyebrows because that needs to be specific to you. You can't wear a shade of foundation just because it's what you're seeing on somebody's YouTube tutorial or on Instagram. It has to be your shade. Of course, if the person that you're looking at, if they have darker skin and you want to be darker like that, you can go ahead and use a darker foundation. Just make sure that you blend it down your neck and your chest so it doesn't look crazy. You want your whole body to look like one uniform color. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that you should want to, maybe if it's a bronzy look, make your skin a little bit more bronzy. But most of the time you want to stick to doing your own specific foundation routine and of course your eyebrow. So this is a makeup look I found on Instagram. This was done by the beautiful and talented makeup artist BrittanyBearMakeup. I am going to put the photo up on the screen so you can see it better. And I love that Instagram now allows you to zoom in on a photo, because there was quite a long period of time where you couldn't do that. And so now it's great that you can just kind of pinch your fingers and zoom in and get a closer look at the detail of the makeup. So the first thing I do if I come across a makeup look that I love on Instagram is I will obviously pinch so I can zoom in and see what kind of colors she's wearing, or he or whatever photo you're looking at. Now, a lot of times I do this, I will list all of the makeup that I've used, but not everybody does that. Sometimes you have to ask and they will respond. Sometimes you ask and you don't get a response. But in this instance, Brittany had written down that she used the Jaclyn Hill eyeshadow palette, she used KKW Beauty contour sticks, she used Lily Lashes in Divine, Hourglass Stick Foundation, but she didn't talk about the lips, she didn't talk about the blush, she didn't talk about highlight. There are lots of products missing. Now, I actually happen to own the Jaclyn Hill palette, but because I'm trying to show you how to achieve a look if you don't have the products used, I'm not going to use it today. I'm going to show you the steps that I take to recreate a look with what I already own. So I'm going to zoom in on her eyes because that's where I'm going to start. And when I zoom in on her eyes, I take note of what I see. And I'm seeing yellow, gold, shimmery color on the lid. I am seeing a kind of like whitish, bright highlighted underbrow, like a reddish brown transition color, maybe a dark brown and a black on the outer corner, winged liner, lashes of course, some black liner in the inner rims, and of course a lot of smudged out black liner or shadow on the outer corners of the lower lash lines. So that's where I'm going to begin. I look at that yellow color because that to me is the focal point, that yellow gold, and I want to find a color that I own that's similar to that. So what I do is I think about all the palettes I have, the individual shadows I own, and I think about if any of them contains a yellow gold. Now the trouble is with gold is that it can look yellow in the pan, but then it might not translate to being that yellow on the skin. So what I did to try and find this yellowy gold shimmery lid color is I thought about the palettes that I own that have a gold in them, or the individual shadows I have that are gold, and I did some swatches. So I thought about Vegas Past from my Melt 27 palette. When I swatched it, I discovered it was more of an orangey, bronzy gold. So then I went over to my Anastasia Beverly Hills Soft Glam palette, and I looked at the shade that's called Bronze, but it's actually quite yellowy gold. And while it's definitely more yellowy than Vegas Past, it's not quite that vibrant yellow gold. It still is more of like a subdued gold. And then I had an aha moment, and I said to myself, you know what? I bet you the yellow that's in the Too Faced Chocolate Gold Bar palette would be perfect. And lo and behold, I think it is. Now, of course, I completely understand that not everybody has the makeup stash that I do. So you might not have all these different options. But if you love the look and you want to recreate it, just write down what I rattled off in the beginning of what I was seeing, write that down on a piece of paper, and then take that to Sephora or MAC or to the drugstore or to a place like Inglot that has really affordable individual shadows and a wide variety of colors, and try to match it up that way. So maybe you're not buying an entire new palette, but you are gonna buy an individual shadow or make a custom palette, because that way, when you wanna do this look again, you have all the colors right there at your fingertips in a custom palette. So when I swatched this gold from the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette, I thought that is perfect. So now that I have the focal point shade kind of figured out what I'm gonna use, then I can go in and start the eye look. I'm gonna start with the underbrow. She's got a very light ivory matte shade under the brow. So I could use anything for that. I could use the shade Rollin' in the Dough that's in this palette, but I'm just gonna use one of my favorite underbrow colors. This is MAC Vanilla. Any matte ivory or even matte white shade will work depending on your skin tone. So I'm gonna pop that right underneath my brow. Next, I'm gonna go in with the transition shade. Now, the transition shade can be whatever your go-to transition shade is. Maybe it's Makeup Geek's Cocoa Bear or Creme Brulee, or what's another popular one? Oh, I just picked up Creme Brulee, like MAC Soft Brown, or whatever it is that you typically reach for your transition. That kind of looks like what she has here. Just a basic kind of neutrally brown. I'm gonna stick with the same palette. Believe it or not, I think that this palette is gonna get me through the entire look. I'm gonna use So Bougie and then go over with Cocoa Truffle. And again, it's not about using these specific products. It's about looking at the colors and thinking, do I have similar in my collection? Like this shade, So Bougie, looks a lot like Frappe from Makeup Geek. Frappe is a little bit darker. So maybe you don't have this Too Faced palette, but you have Frappe from Makeup Geek, which I think is only $6. You could use that just as easily. It will give you the same look. So I'm gonna use my Sigma Blender E25, and I'm gonna go in with that So Bougie shade, and I'm gonna lightly apply that to my crease. And of course, everyone has different eye shapes. My lids are far more hooded than the model shown here. So I have to go a little bit higher with my crease color. Otherwise, you will not be able to see it at all. So now that I've done that, I look back at the photo and it does appear that her crease color is a little bit darker than this. So I'm gonna go in with Cocoa Truffle, which looks a lot like Cocoa Bear. And you know, you can find so many dupe videos on YouTube, and you can also find different vlogs that have dupes. I know Temptalia does wonderful dupes of products, and they're just a great resource that didn't exist, you know, when I was beginning in makeup. And I just think it's great to be able to find more affordable options, especially when you're working with just basic colors like brown, black, and gold. So I'm taking the Cocoa Truffle and I am working that back and forth into the crease. Not quite as high as I went with the first shade. Okay, now I want to go in with that gold, and I want it to be really intense like it is in the photo. So what I'm going to do is I am going to take just the tiniest bit of concealer on a brush. This is just Tarte Shape Tape, and a little bit of Tarte Shape Tape goes a long way, so you want to use a really tiny amount. You can use any concealer for this, and I'm putting it right on the lid and then patting it out with my finger. And then I look back at the photo and I see that the gold does go right up to the fold. And again, I have the hooded lid, so my fold isn't that defined. Isn't defined at all, actually. Remember, just the tiniest bit. Okay, so now that that's laid down, I'm gonna go and flip the brush around and go into that chocolate gold shade. And you can use your finger. I might end up using my finger. And I'm packing that onto the lid. And oh yeah, that is a serious yellow gold. But that's exactly what I want. So it appears to me that she has a very strong cat eye look going on. So what I want to do, you can use tape for this, but I'm just going to use a little bit of tissue. I apologize, I have to move the mirror closer because my eyesight is just going and I need to get close up here. So I'm going to take this and put it on an angle from my lower lash line up to the corner of my brow. I'm going to go in with the black from the palette, but you can use any black. Black is one of the easiest shadows to find, although not every black is a true black. Some are difficult to blend, some are more gray. So I would recommend, once again, from Makeup Geek, they have a color called, oh my gosh, I can't even think of the name right now, but it'll come to me. I own it, but why can't I think about what it is? And it appears that she only has the black like on the very, very outer corner of the cat eye. So I don't want to come in too far. And look at how the tissue is just picking up all that fallout, which is good. And then I'm just taking whatever is left on my brush and feathering it in towards the gold. So I'm really liking the way this looks overall, but I still feel like something is not quite right. Like I feel like she has a little bit more of a noticeable transition color. So I'm gonna go in with more of a reddish brown color. Once again, I think about the shades I have in different palettes, or maybe an individual shade. I think that this one would work. This is Brown Script from MAC, but in my soft glam, like I think sienna or rustic would work. I'm gonna try, what am I gonna try? So I'm gonna go with a reddish brown shade called Sienna with this old NARS brush. It is number 12. I don't think they make it anymore, but it's just a really tiny crease brush. Always tap off your excess. And I'm gonna change mirrors because that one is kind of dirty. And I'm gonna run it, I'm gonna put my chin up so I can look down into the mirror. Because it looks like she has it right through here, almost like a cut crease, but not. So I'm using that to kind of blend out the upper portion of the black and give that transition more definition. So just lightly, lightly, lightly going over that area. And now I'm going in with a little bit of Noir from that Soft Glam palette. I feel like it's a little bit of a darker black than the one in this palette. It's definitely blacker than Decadent from this Too Faced palette. All right, she clearly has an intense black wing going on. I go back and forth between using a gel eyeliner or a liquid liner for my winged liner. Today, I'm gonna be using liquid. It's just easier for me to do on camera than gel. And this is the Physicians Formula Eye Booster Pen in Ultra Black. And what I'm gonna do first is I don't have a makeup wipe, so I'm just gonna take some paper towel here with a little bit of eye makeup remover, or you can use a cotton swab and eye makeup remover. And I'm going to give myself like a guide, like a nice edge, like a nice straight edge for that wing. So now I know exactly where to place that wing. But do not try to go and do a wing liner when this area is wet from eye makeup remover. It'll slide everywhere. And her wing liner, I just kind of did my wing up because my eyes are more downturned. Hers is more out to the side, but you have to adjust your wing liner to your eye shape. If I did that and I drew the wing straight out like she has it, when I smile, because my eyes turn down, especially when I smile, it would end up, you wouldn't even see the wing. It would be caught in these little corners. So that's why you have to adjust certain things for your eye shape and your face shape. So I am taking mine a little bit more up so I can get more of a lift. So once again, hopefully I'll be on camera for this. But I'm gonna start with the wing. But it does look like her wing liner is a lot thicker on the end. So I'm going to thicken it up. So now I'm going to curl my lashes and apply some mascara off camera, and then we will finish up the lower lash lines. I am going to be using false eyelashes, so I just put a minimal amount of mascara on. You can use any mascara if you're going to be using false eyelashes. Just use a Maybelline Great Lash. I cannot stand that mascara. I have never been a fan. I've never understood why so many people love it, but a lot of makeup artists use it because it's inexpensive, and they end up putting on lash inserts, you know, individual lashes or false eyelashes on anyway, so it really doesn't matter what mascara you use. So I just used, if anybody's interested, the MAC Extended Play Giga Black Lash. Moving back to the eyes to finish them up, she clearly has black in her waterline, so I'm going to apply that there. And any black pencil, if you're going to be applying to your inner rims, you want to use one that stays a while. I probably shouldn't have used this one actually. This is the Voluminous Smoldering Eyeliner from L'Oreal, but using one that's waterproof or water resistant is actually better for this area because it'll stay on longer. My eyes are watering for some reason. I think it's because I have this fan aimed at me because it's so hot down here, but it's making my eyes water. I'm turning them red, so that's not good. Okay, then she has a lot of black along the lower lash line. So this is not going to be for everyone. As much as you might like this look, it could just be too overpowering for your eyes, for your eye shape. You have to experiment with makeup. That's the thing, is that most people, they either write things off because they're too afraid to try it, so they don't even make the attempt. But the reality is it comes right off. You can so easily, if you put that black down there and you make a mess out of it, or you hate the way it looks, it's just way too much, makeup wipes are your friend. And it only takes a second to touch up concealer if you've already done that. Don't be afraid to experiment. That's really what I want to get across most, above anything else, is that you really need to experiment, play with makeup. I'm actually going to take this, it should be fun. It shouldn't be scary. So now I'm going to take this black eyeliner, I'm going to make this like a base for the black shadow. Just a little bit. And she doesn't have any in the inner corners, the inner third, so I'm going to leave that blank. Use this black shadow now to go over and make it really, really dark and smoky. And this is just a little brush from Mally Beauty. It's really old. Brushes are so important because using a little detail brush like this is going to make it so much easier to get the look you want. If you don't own a tiny brush, it's going to be hard to do this type of effect. So brushes don't have to be expensive. You can get Morphe, Real Techniques, Delium Tools is a great affordable brand. You can get it on Amazon or at some beauty supply stores. Even art brushes that you get from Michael's or your local art supply store. And now we got to do that gold in the inner corners like she has. Or like inner, I don't know if she really has in the inner corners. Kind of looks like it's just right here on the inner third. So I'm going to take that yellowy gold and apply that right down here. Right where she has it. Now I'm going to apply mascara to the lower lashes. Now the photo says that Lily Lashes in Divine were used. I don't have those, but I'm looking at the way that these look on her, and they're kind of like spiky. Like they have a cluster in the front, then maybe something small, and then a spike, and then a gap of smaller lashes, and then another spike. So I really love these lashes that I found on Amazon. Really, really affordable. They're like $8 or $9, and they look just like Lily Lashes. Lily Lashes are around $30 a pair, and like I said, these are about $9. And I have ordered, I think, 8 different styles already. now we can move on to the face. She definitely has some contour going on. It even says in the photo that the KKW contour stick was used, but I'm just gonna do more of a powder contour, and I'm going to use this Luxie 504 brush. And I can't remember if I said this already, but I am using the Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow. Actually, I used a little bit of a darker foundation today, and this might not be dark enough. Now I'm using the Hoola bronzer from Benefit. And it looks like just the typical areas of her face were contoured. This nose contour is amazing. Brittany Bear is known for her nose contour. I need her to work on mine because even as a makeup artist for 20 years, I do not know how to contour my nose like she does. So I'm just gonna lightly do some slight contouring. Nowhere near the perfection that this is, but just a little bit using the Luxie Nose Perfecting brush. So for the blush, I'm seeing like a kind of peachy pinky bronzy color. I saw this, I immediately thought of this Tropic Hues Baked Blush and Brighten from Laura Geller because it has all those colors. It has pink, it has peach, it has bronze, it has rose. Highlight, I feel like she has, again, it could be editing, it could be lighting. She has a lot of light through the center of her face. I'm going to use this highlighter from MAC called Double Gleam. It is an extra dimension skin finish. I feel like this will be perfect on the cheekbones. And now she has some on the tip of her nose. I'm not such a huge fan of the highlight on the tip of the nose, but because we are trying to recreate a look, there I go, applying a little to the tip of my not so great nose. I do not have a cute snatch nose like the kids say. Now let's look closely at her lips. I am zooming in and I am seeing what appears to be like a matte rosy pink. It almost has a little bit of lightness in the center. So what I do when I'm not really sure what a lip is I take a bunch of lip colors just to kind of experiment and do, again, like I do with the eyeshadows, I'm gonna do some swatches. So I took this Anastasia Beverly Hills shade, and this is called Dusty Rose, but I think this is gonna be way too mauve-y pink, and I am right. Then I'm gonna try this one from NYX. This one is called Black Book. It's one of the lip lingeries. And this one also looks too mauve-y. So let's see. I know I brought some others down here. Oh, this lip lingerie in the shade Bedtime Flirt. Looks more pinky, less mauve. Ooh, and this could be perfect. Although no, this one is pulling a little bit more peach. Okay, let's try this one from Jordana. It's a sweet cream matte, and this is called Creme Brulee. That one could definitely work. I don't know if you can see these well, but some are too pink, some are too mauve, some are too dark, but this one looks just perfect. So I'm going to, before I even apply any lip liner, I'm going to apply this. So I have no idea what was actually used in this photo. I'm just kind of coming up with my own similar shade. It looks like her lip liner is the exact same color as her lipstick, or maybe she doesn't even have a lip liner on at all. I think she does, but I'm using this one from MAC. It's called Staunchly Stylish. I feel like we are almost there, but her lips are a little bit more of a soft pink, but instead of changing the whole lip, I'm just going to kind of give a little bit of an ombre effect and have a little bit more lightness towards the center, because it does kind of look like that to me. So I'm going to take this Milkshake from Anastasia Beverly Hills, just put the tiniest bit in the center of my lower lip and pat it out. So this is going to turn it into more of a soft pink. And then I'm gonna add a little bit more. All right, we are all done. I think I did a pretty good job. And I used all products that I already had in my stash. That is really what I want the takeaway from this video to be. I want you, the next time you see a photo on Instagram or you are watching a YouTube tutorial, that I want you to understand that you don't need to use those exact products. Note what colors the YouTuber is wearing, or look at the photo and take note of what you're seeing. Learn to train your eye to recognize colors and tones. If you're watching this video, you've watched a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of YouTube tutorials, you're on Instagram, and you're seeing these beautiful makeup looks and you want to recreate them, but you're hitting roadblocks, not only with the products because you feel like you can't afford everything that person is using, or you feel like, you're older than that person. I could be this girl's mother. I know who she is. She's Nadia Mejia, I think is her name, and she is about 20, 21 years old. I could easily be her mother. So that could be a roadblock for someone. They could say, I'm not going to try to recreate a look on somebody who is 25 years younger than I am, 20 years, 25 years younger. But you shouldn't let that stop you. You just need to retrain your brain to understand that it can be done. You just have to change things a little bit. I had to change the angle of my winged eyeliner. Maybe you don't use as much black on the lower lash line. Maybe you don't use any black at all. Maybe you don't use highlight because it accentuates texture, but you like the colors that are used. It's about gathering inspiration and stepping out of your comfort zone and out of the box that we sometimes place ourselves in. So I think that's all I want to say. I really hope that you found this video helpful. And as always, if you did, I really appreciate if you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me on Instagram and Snapchat and Facebook and Twitter. Everything is under the name Risa Does Makeup. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you'll stick around and check out some of my other videos and leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you guys. Thank you again, and I'll see you very soon.